Folks, how you doing tonight? Papa Joe here. Well, starting my 10-hour break. Done had dinner. Something I ain't had in literally years. Beanie Weenies. Little old lady lives across the street from us, gave Grandma a bunch of canned goods and stuff, and there was 3 little cans of Beanie Weenies in there, so of course I brought them out here. I hadn't had them in years. They was Beanie Weenies. What can I say? You know, me and Grandma got talking today. We do that when she ain't mad at me. Of course, we got talking a little trucking. Imagine that. And I told her, I said, you know what? Basically, this would make a good video. We got talking about the greed. And we got talking about for when they was changing the hours of service, forcing ELDs on us. Now this is over the course of time. The biggest thing that they kept yelling about was how those greedy truck drivers just wanted to make more money. They're greedy. Damn truck drivers. And that was what they used to help push us through. Got to get them under control. The only way we can get them under control is get them on that computer. You leave them on paper and they run wild. You know how they are. Well, that was the picture they painted. What a deal. Now we got discussing how many times I've had to argue and fight with owners of the company and companies to make them fix their equipment. 2 reasons that they wasn't wanting to fix it. One, it would cost money. Another one, the truck would have to stop, and that would cost money. Then you have them not paying you detention. They swear they don't get it. Oh, we'll pay you if we get it. Then they conveniently never get it. Damn brokers. They're the ones getting all the money, not the company. Ask any company, they'll tell you. If you listen to William on here, well, read his comments. He's leased on with somebody. And he's saying every load he gets is hot. It's got to get there. How many of you old drivers remember all them hot loads? Every damn one of them was hot. Then when you get it there, they got a warehouse of the product that was so hot, and they're like, what do we need this for? We ain't got no place to put it. Remember them? Huh. Wonder why it was so hot. You think maybe so the broker and or the company could get paid? What it boils down to is greed is the problem out here. But it really ain't the greed of you and I, despite the picture they're trying to paint. The greed is the one that owns these trucks. The greed is that broker. It ain't the truck driver. Some of the laws and stuff that they passed were extremely helpful to us. We definitely have better trucks out here. And the companies wouldn't have got them if they hadn't been forced to. That's a fact. Some of these companies, big companies, they had some junk. Look at Dart. Dart's got pretty decent looking equipment nowadays. How many of y'all remember them 20 years ago? 25 years ago? They was another one of them companies that was buying all the cab overs that the other companies were discarding. But cab overs weren't popular. So they was buying them things already wore out, and then trying to convince drivers how they could make some good money buying a cab over. You're limping on down the road with that flat tire, driver. Do you think you can make it to the yard with that motor messing up? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand the highway robbery out here of the repair companies and the flat fixers and all that. I understand. But I also understand when the companies would push us where it's borderline a safety issue. A lot of times it was blatantly disregarding the law, and it was always for their benefit, not yours, theirs. Now they would try to convince you it was yours for your benefit. Hauling bulk potatoes and stuff. How many of y'all did that? I've done my share of them in the day. There's still a few loads of them floating around out there. And driver, I really need you to put on 45 bushel. And for a while, they paid you to dodge them scales, because they wanted so much damn weight on there to make a profit that it was illegal, period. It wasn't nothing to run 85, 90,000 pounds with taters on it. And a lot of us did it. And it wasn't so that they could necessarily make a profit. It was so they could make more profit. If they was losing money, just say no. It's that simple. Same thing with all this cheap freight out here. These companies, mega companies, they come in and cut the little guy's throat. I was mentioning it the other, just here recently, on talking about owner-operator stuff. But they'll come in and cut your throat to take the freight. Well, it ain't that they necessarily need it, but to keep their investors happy, they have to keep growing and they have to keep stealing freight. That's greed. It's just spelled a different way. So yeah, greed is a problem, but they kind of reversed it. It's not the greed of you and I. And our government, our politics, our media, they all have a habit of trying to reverse role stuff and make you feel bad or make the world think bad of you or whatever. These illegals coming up in these caravans. Typical example right there. I have literally heard them say that we should embrace these illegals because they're the kind that built our country. No, they're not. The kind that built our country didn't try to come here illegally. They came in by the proper ways. What do you think Ellis Island was all about? They didn't come in here criminals. Well, I can't say that. I'm sure some of them were. I'm sure quite a few of them was running from the other place. But case in point, now, in my mind, night and day between the immigrants that came here to build this country 200 years ago, whatever, to those that are down there now trying to force their way in. And I know I'll be called a hater. Bottom line is those that came to build this country, they came here for the real American dream. They came here just wanting everybody to leave them alone and let them have a shot at making a successful life. That didn't mean getting rich. That meant taking care of their families and living out their life without a bunch of hassle from the government and everybody else. Now, the part that'll make people mad, or make some mad, I honestly believe that over 80%, if not 100%, of those that's waiting at the border trying to force their way in, they have no desire to really make their own way. They're not here for the real American dream. They're coming over for the real American handout. Drastic difference to me. The Democrats are trying to convince you what good people these are and how they are just like the immigrants that came and started this country. They have a agenda, just like the media that is trying to convince you they have an agenda. Just like the ones that are trying to convince you that it's the truck drivers that are greedy. They have an agenda. It's called control on their part. That's all that electronic log is about, is control. The government likes to be in control. I don't know if all that made any sense to you or not. But yes, we have a greed problem. There are greedy people in the industry. There's a few greedy truck drivers. They actually won't make enough money to pay their bills. I'll be damned. They actually want to make enough money to make it worth while to be out here. I'll be damned. They want to make enough money so that they can actually have a reason for being out here. I'll be damned. I don't call that being greedy. I call that taking care of your family. And back in the day, before any of you rookies get on here talking about us, talking about our log books and running 2 and 3 log books at a time and tearing pages out, if you wasn't out here, you don't know what you're talking about. Because the reason most of us did that stuff was because we got jacked around. And that was the only way we could make enough money to feed our family. It had nothing to do with greed with most of us. It had to do with making a decent paycheck. It was nothing to put in over 100 hours work out here, and the majority of the money to be made or saved from that went in someone else's pocket. It was ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. And a bunch of these rules, laws, whatever that they've established the last few years, it has helped. But I guarantee you the greed's still there. The companies have just got smarter, and there's a different way that they're stealing it, their money. These lease-to-own contracts, that ain't for your benefit. And they have them rigged up where you're lucky if you're going to make a living. You're lucky if you're going to pay for their truck. That's nothing but greed on their part. When you have to hire you a shyster lawyer to write up these contracts, oh, don't get me started. Yep, there's plenty of greed in the industry. Damn good chances you're working for one of the greedy ones. That's all I got to say about that. There's some that won't have a clue what I just said. There's others that's going to be saying, he's right. Y'all remember, good Lord loves you, so do I. And he's greedy too. He wants all of us to go join him. He wants every one of us that he can get his hands on. That's the good greed. Y'all have a blessed day now. Good night.